What I think I appreciate more about a product like Intent is the level of control you get. The modules ensure that the code and the patterns are consistent, whereas different AI models may choose to implement that same pattern in different ways. And that leads to inconsistency in your application, and that's not what you want. The software factory intent tells you exactly what's changed, what's new, what's been removed, what custom code's been implemented, and that's all viewable before it reaches source code. If you go down the pure AI development route, there's a risk that that AI might decide, do you know what, I'm just going to rewrite that. Yeah, I know it was working before, but I'm going to change it. And it breaks the solution. And I think, intent architect safeguards that. Naveo Commerce is a software house. We provide a unified commerce platform that brings together advanced order management, warehouse management, and enterprise grocery fulfillment into a coherent ecosystem. Our legacy product is approaching end of life, so we're now several months into building our new flagship platform called Mirius. And Mirius is a cloud-native, agentic, modular OMS WMS solution built on Azure. All of the backend services are written in C#, and we follow a clean architecture approach. So before we adopted Intent, we were trying to address a few reoccurring challenges, probably quite common challenges I think people face in the industry. One, delivery speed. We're a software company, we're trying to produce products to market, so the delivery speed wasn't where it wanted to be. We were seeing a lack of consistency across services. That was creating unnecessary complexity. And we were accumulating technical debt faster than we could manage. The other thing that we were struggling with is the non-technical stakeholders were often struggling to get a clear view of how the solution fits it together. So we knew we needed a more structured and scalable way of designing, building and visualizing our application. We've seen several major benefits already from using Intent. The first is the living blueprint of the application. So whether you're visualizing the domain architecture, inspecting service endpoints, or even just seeing what validation rules have been implemented, the IDE Intent allows you to understand the solution much more coherently. You can model a domain out incredibly quickly, and I think being able to visualize those relationships and properties within the IDE has transformed the way we discuss design and implementation. Next, the absolute speed in which you can go from nothing, a blank project, to a fully operational, secured, working set of APIs it's unbelievable. You've got to see it to believe it. It's crazy. We did some analysis on a service that our system integrator had built manually, and we rebuilt something from scratch in Intent. It took under 10 minutes, and it took 35 hours to build that manually. So, you're really seeing a huge performance increase, yeah. And then I would say the other thing, probably technical debt. From a technical debt perspective, we're finding it incredibly efficient. If our pattern changes or we identify an issue, we can release a new version of a module, we can upgrade the application in a single solution, we can run the software factory across 10 or 15 services at once, and it's done. So things like that saves hours of laborious work and eliminates the potential of human error when you're kind of stitching those changes in to existing services. I think to start with, you understand the power of Intent by seeing the demo, but what I find is that the more you use it, the more you sat there going, oh wow, oh that's good, oh that's really good, and the more and more you use it week after week, you start going, well, I wonder if I could. Of course, I can do that, and I think once you get into it, when you get into the complex side of it, you really can start leveraging some incredibly powerful components out of Intent that just reduce the amount of effort you've got to put in manually. What I think I appreciate more about a product like Intent is the level of control you get. The modules ensure that the code and the patterns are consistent, whereas different AI models may choose to implement that same pattern in different ways. And that leads to inconsistency in your application, and that's not what you want. The software factory Intent tells you exactly what's changed, what's new, what's been removed, what custom code's been implemented, and that's all viewable before it reaches source code. If you go down the pure AI development route, there's a risk that that AI might decide, do you know what, I'm just going to rewrite that. Yeah, I know it was working before, but I'm going to change it. And it breaks the solution. And I think, Intent architect safeguards that. Absolutely, without hesitation, I would recommend Intent to anybody that is building clean architecture solutions in .NET or implementing solutions with reusable patterns. Um, I've talked a lot about the product before that just works exceptionally well, but it's not always just about the products. It's about the support, and I can safely say that the support we've got from Intent is probably the best I've ever experienced in 30 years in IT. So yeah, get Intent because you'll save time, you'll reduce your technical debt, and you will be very glad you made the choice.